Not only do we have an advisory, but here's why. Y'all's governor, and let me tell you, Florida is one of my favorite states. I had a home there for 7 years. I loved living in Winter Garden. I loved the state of Florida. I loved being in Disney, going to Disney, Universal. I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of living in Florida. The weather is nice. And there are some beautiful people there. I love going to Florida every year to the Women's Empowerment Conference. Shout out to Bernadette and them, Tina Teague. Loved y'all. Can't come back for a minute because, first of all, I can't close my mouth. I can't stop talking. I'm not going to stop talking. So I'm also not going to put myself in a dangerous situation because I love to live. I love it. I love my life. I love it. But y'all's governor just offered, this is what he did. He has a flagship law enforcement relocation program, and here's what it is doing. He has spent more than 13.5 million of your taxpayer dollars, Floridians, on a recruitment bonus program to bring in police officers. $13.5 million, and this started in 2021. It is an incentive. It was an incentive to add police officers as COVID-19 vaccine mandates increase. So think about this. So there was a pandemic. There was a whole pandemic. People were dying. And then the federal government said, well, how do we stop people from dying? Okay, we're going to mandate vaccines. Now, most of us have been vaccinated since the beginning of our existence. Most of us, to go to school, we had to be vaccinated. All of us. Never was a problem. Now, all of a sudden, oh, y'all, where'd the vaccine come from? It's a chip. It's, the government's doing something. They're forcing us to do something. No, dummies, they wanted you to live, right? I got vaccinated. There was people online, people who got vaccinated are going to be dead in 2 years. Still here. Hi. I know people have been vaccinated 5 times. I haven't had all of the boosters. I'm going to be transparent, but I did get my couple of vaccines, and I am okay. Well, I'm not okay because I'm still wearing my mask. Kiss my ass if you have a problem with that. Just stay away from me. I don't want your COVID, and I definitely don't want your ideology, because your ideology is not rooted in community, because at the very least, me wearing a mask protects you. So that means I'm somebody that cares about your life. That said, this governor decides he's going to increase policing because he wants to enforce people not having to wear a mask. Because, Florida was one of them states that were like, nah, we ain't wearing a mask. So people who had that same ideology flooded Florida. So now you got all these problematic people who don't care about other people, who also love Trump, who also love DeSantis, flooding into Florida, including police officers. Now, a new study just came out that said the numerous police officers lured to these new jobs with cash, because that was what DeSantis was giving, cash, have, you ready? Histories of excessive violence, or themselves have been arrested for crimes including kidnapping, murder. Police force. Why are we? I'm not surprised. This is a study that they found, state documents, that program is attracting horrible people. Who's surprised? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Anyone? You? No, I'm not surprised, which makes Florida even more dangerous, because I'm imagining these police officers flooding Florida to get the cash from DeSantis, who also have a history of violence, including kidnapping and murder. Also may not like Black people. I can't prove it. I can't prove it. But I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say that of these officers, not going to be a whole lot of folk that were like, hey, you know what? Because what they also know coming to Florida is that they have a governor that will back them in their racist pursuits. I will also say, let me not say, but Florida problematic. 866-801-8255. And I feel really bad for people who live there, because at least more than half the state aren't in line with this. You want to know how I know? Because Andrew Gillum lost by like a handful of votes. And then on that same ballot that he lost, there was an initiative to restore voting rights to more than 2 million formerly incarcerated people. And it passed on that same ballot that narrowly kept Andrew Gillum from being the governor of Florida. It was that close. And then this governor decided to issue a poll tax. So those people that got reenfranchised then had to pay money that they didn't have to actually get their voting rights back, which of course that didn't happen. So then he won, right? So he, I would venture to say that there's probably, a large number of Floridians, the majority of Floridians that are not in line with this, and now they're under siege. Now you're an apartheid state, and I feel really bad. You and the folk living in Texas as well, apartheid states. Now Arkansas and Kentucky, but Mississippi, you have enough numbers to actually, so there's a lot at stake in this country. So it had me pondering, like, how do we get here? Why have we always been here? Probably, but not really. Because as I was talking to you yesterday, watching the Donna Summer documentary on HBO Max, I was reminded that there was a time when things weren't so bad. It was a lot of free loving and folk out here protesting the right things. We don't want no wars. We out here trying to live our best lives. And disco was not a problem until it became a problem for people like the same people who don't want you to have an abortion, like the same people who don't want you reading no history books, like the same people who are out here causing havoc, the same people that would vote for Trump didn't like disco. And I wonder why. And I wonder, like, is the joy of other people, and this doesn't go to political ideology. I'm just curious. There are people who are wired in such a way that when they see other people happy, it makes them mad or sad, or they feel less than, they feel like infuriated. They don't want to see anyone else win. If they might also win, but they don't want you winning. I call this kill my neighbor's cow, right? So you're a farmer, you look over, you don't have cows, your neighbors have cows and they are thriving. And instead of going to work to get cows, you climb the fence at night and kill the cows, because how dare they have cows and you don't have cows? That's the American way, though.